Yet again, we're back with the Financial Griot episode. We're just talking about generally we're talking about opportunities, what makes more sense sometimes, and what are the best things to do, or even when opportunities come up, what can you do, and what is the best, likelihood for you. So in this scenario, obviously, FinCon is coming up in September. It's about like a week or two away. And I was geeked up. I got my plane ticket. I'm flying in. I got my car rental. Alainta, she had her car rental. She's doing her daycare for her cat. She's doing all that stuff. She's setting it up. Like she's doing the work. Then Lovely starts getting real quiet. She don't say a lot of stuff until this morning she drops it on you like,
You realize that she did get quiet.
What are the pros and cons of going to FinCon, like in comparison to this? That's what people set you up.
To give context, in comparison to, I'm talking about Inbound. Inbound is hosted by HubSpot, which is the leading SaaS company for most tech companies, and just a lot of companies use HubSpot. Like they're like the backbone of a lot of like CRM, which is customer relationship management. And as you guys all know, I run 1159, which is a business management company that I've been trying for the last year and a half to kind of bring up. And this is one of the reasons why I'm pursuing my MBA. I want to get to one of the highest levels of running consulting, not just for small business, but for even big business, right? And so Inbound was like something that was on my radar. I would talk to you guys about it like maybe months back, but then I don't remember what ended up happening, but it just became something like a non-starter. And then I was just like, well, then I got an email that was just like, oh yeah, Inbound, this is that and the third. You can get this, you can get that. Just let me know. And I'm like, and then I went to go look at the dates. And then I looked at the lineup and I looked at the resources. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of like, these are clashing. Like they're not even like a week apart. They're literally like the same days. I think FinCon only has one extra day beyond it. That's Saturday. So this is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is like literally the same exact dates.
She's not coming. Viola Davis is speaking. She's not coming.
Yeah, she's not coming. Like,
I just seen the
all that. No,
Barack Obama.
She's setting all that stuff up to say, hey guys, I ain't coming.
I was wondering why you put speaker. What are you talking about? Yeah, she's.
Oh yeah. When I looked at the speaker list, I did the whole statement because she asked us, on our messaging. She's like, hey guys, what do you think could be a good pros and cons, so on and so forth. And I'm going there and like, hey, Lovely, it's been a tough year. It's been a lot of stuff going on. I did the whole emotional spiel. Like sometimes you just have to go someplace and try something, new creativity, new ideas.
Then I just want to save money.
I clicked on the link, and it says Barack Obama, Viola Davis, Dr. Jane Goodall. Then you have next page, Glennon Doyle, a New York Times bestselling author, Emma Greed, Good American CEO and co-founder. Tej out here, head of global content partnership, and Jimmy Wang, actor comedian off of that show, Silicon Valley. You've seen him before. It's all types of people.
And Emma Grady, she's one of the co-founders of Good American Genes, and some more great collaborations with a lot of celebrities like Kim Kardashian and stuff. So I read about her. It's some hitters.
So she ain't coming no FinCon. She looks at you like,
we're little people,
man. Like remember the people that cared about you before you blow up, get rich. She's gonna be somewhere in the crowd, barely able to touch Barack Obama, but she's like, I was there. Like, yeah, whatever.
She called me yesterday. She didn't mention Barack Obama.
She didn't mention.
No, I didn't mention any names.
You didn't mention their names. You called me.
He don't be around unless somebody shell out some big cash.
So this is gonna be a big.
Like what kind of payday you think he got for this? Like $500,000?
$500,000, yeah.
At least $500,000. Yeah, I think
I can see that.
Kind of weird to just pay him $1 million for this, but $500,000 is an easy. Hey,
$500,000.
Like, don't talk to me. Talk to my manager.
No less than a quarter, because like I told you, like Gary Vee charges $100K, and he's just like a business entrepreneur that's really big. So Barack is like Barack. I mean, you don't get Barack just to get Barack.
Yeah, but like, I guess how much is this for this anyways? Like.
Well, it just depends. Like, had you got your ticket early, you could have got it for 400, as little as 400. I think right now it's going for
1,002.
Yeah.
In-person pass, 1,002. Online and digital passes, in person 1,002, and the VIP and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure they ran out of VIP spots.
Yeah,
at this point.
VIP's cleared out unless you know one or two people where you can.
Yeah, VIP was 1.5. Woo! I can never have that much money to just toss at just like to be somewhere. At 1.5?
Yes, you can, Lauren.
Yes,
wait, at 1.5? I'm not saying I say hey for just me
You know
to
why?
be here as a spectator. No,
No,
I'm not a networker. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a networker by trade.
The thing about it is the reason why I say that is, again, it really depends, because let's say, for example, we are syndicated, right? We're literally like Financial Griot, syndicated. We're getting sponsors and this, that, and a third. And this was like the podcast for like even us. We know that just meeting one sponsor would have literally been like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 for the year. When you think of like the trade-off of a lot of times the reason why these rooms, you're not paying for the content. It's not what you're paying for at all. But I've been at Inbound before when Michelle was there. And there's one lady that unequivocally I would have paid, if they would have told me, if I would have still knew that I was going to still meet this lady, got the opportunity that I got at the time. The reason why I ended up getting one of the consulting stuff that I had to do internally at Tech was because I was at Inbound before. And it led to like, it didn't even matter. And at that time, I didn't even go as an attendee. I went as a volunteer. I don't remember how I got that thing, but I ended up going as a volunteer and just doing the inside rooms. And it's just crazy because literally a business owner can go to this and they play their cards right. If they're either a speaker or internally networking, the return on business is like, did you even spend the money? And a lot of people, this is their write-off as well. They're writing it off, mostly business owners, or if people are setting like their teams, it becomes something all about networking and business. So depending, like, let's say we were syndicated and we literally were getting racks on racks, and we know like, hey, attending something that would have been like a podcast networking, or like even FinCon, for example, if we had said, like, I know next year one of your goals is to speak there, let's say you had to pay $500, but just exposure alone brings like kind of like the return on investment. It's not a guarantee, but it's like nurturing relationships. Some of the relationships that it might be 18 months down the road that leads you, but sometimes certain people you're not going to meet them and they're not going to take the time, but you'll be surprised like an event like that where somebody is so much more open to have the conversation versus if you had to like, hey, let me email this person. Because that in-person vibe and exchange, it just like, hey, I've been talking to you about Lovely. Lovely's actually going to be at Inbound. I've been telling you about her. We can just take a lunch right after it. More than likely, because person's already like in vacation mode, like relaxation mode, they're like, yeah, let's take that lunch. I always tell people the biggest checks are written over dinner. They're not written, it's not the invoice that's sent. So these opportunities, depending on where you are and what you're doing, they may not even be, it's like a little bit of a bucket that you're throwing into, but it can double down and be worth a while. I'm not saying go ahead and just do it just for the heck of it. You have to go with a plan. But depending on what we're doing and how we're doing it, 1,500 may not be like that much of a big deal, depending on how you leverage the opportunity itself.
Yeah, I think that's the important part, that the idea of leveraging. And I think that's the difference between, at least for myself, I know myself enough that I'm not a person that's even mildly extroverted in that sense, where I kind of just walk into like a event space and I go talk to different people. I try to sell, I pitch. I think this is exactly why companies, bigger companies, or even Coca-Cola, or even like other, NRA, so on and so forth, they have lobbyists, they got sales, they got people that do that level of networking, because you're right. It can be very lucrative. Like you pay a certain amount. Yes, that's true. That $1,500 might sound crazy, but it might lead to $20,000, even $100,000 worth of sales, or even $1 million, depending how it's been or who's actually doing that work. So it really comes down to you leveraging your opportunities as a person, but also, in my opinion, knowing who you are. So if you're that kind of, if you're not the salesperson, you're not the pitch person, as a business owner, then you might need to consider hiring somebody to do that kind of work for you. And I think that's the important part, knowing who you are, knowing what your core strengths are, and also knowing the people that's going to be around in your team to leverage those opportunities for you to bring in more cash and more revenue into your business. I think that's a fundamental difference. So me, I'm going to try out this whole FinCon. I'm going to try to be a little bit more out there, talk to different people, broach the conversation, but I was never somebody that was good at that stuff. And so for me, it's not a great fit. It's just never been that. And that's why I personally teach, how people can be automatic or the average millionaire, because a lot of us are generally average folks. Like, we don't really do all of that. Some people don't go into a space and they kind of know everyone. Some people retreat themselves, or some people never even show up in those spaces, or don't even know those spaces exist. So to those people that are great talkers, great movers and shakers, and people that love to connect with others, these are great opportunities. And I definitely would move and motion people to consider how to get into those spaces, to really understand how the other side lives. Leverage, make money, keep it going.
For sure. And I also think like something that can be taken into consideration, if you're not a natural extrovert, like person that's going to be like, ooh, like I'm going to be there. Sometimes it's as simple as the person you're sitting at a workshop. Like, you don't have to be the person that's going to be like, hey, so-and-so, but let's say we're at FinCon, we're going to the SEO one, because that's one of the ones that I chose to be.
You're not going to FinCon. Stop the lies.
No, I'm giving context here, Lawrence. Context. It's not about me. I'm giving the people tips here. Like this.
You even say, hey, I'm going to show up a couple of days. You didn't even say that. You're not showing up.
Again, the workshop, like for example, the workshop itself, like let's say you're going to the SEO one, you might be sitting next to somebody, and that's an easier conversation, because I think a lot of times just manners can go a long way. I remember there was a position that I wanted to get at my corporate job, and you will not believe this what ended up happening to me one day. I was in the elevator. And when you get an elevator, people typically, for some reason, don't speak. They don't even say hello. That's not me. My mama raised me better than that. So I'm like, hey, how are you? How's your day? Even 2 flights of stuff, you can tell me you're fine, whatever. And then, this floor, our office was like on the 17th or 18th floor, so it wasn't quick. So we're having this conversation, and then lo and behold, and she's like, hey, what's your name? She's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, my name's Lovely. Oh, she's like, I heard about you. Like, I heard you're crushing it. And I actually been trying to see if we can poach you into our department. I didn't know I was speaking to the VP. I didn't know her face. I knew her name. I didn't know her face, just by being cordial, having a conversation. I seen that she worked at the company. I seen like the tag. Hey, da 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 da. Oh, I heard about you. Oh, I've been trying to get you on this side. Boom. Guess what happens when you go to the interview? we had an elevator conversation. I'm bringing that up. Man, remember the elevator? Because the person felt kind of like really comfortable. So it doesn't have to be going out of your way, but like you might be sitting at a workshop, you might be sitting at a session, and you're like, hey, what's up? How's your day going? How are you enjoying FinCon today? Hey, if it's Thursday, we've been to a few sessions. What was the session that you've been to that you felt like was so important? Those little things. Oh, let's go ahead and exchange like LinkedIn's or contacts. Thank you so much. And then you send a follow-up email. You don't have to be completely out there, like the person that's moving, shaking the room, but sometimes just the person you sit next to at a workshop is an easy, hey, hey, how are you? How's your day? What's the workshops? What have you gotten out of this event? And if they
saying that, I'm still telling you, Lovely, within your wheelhouse, it does make sense, but a lot of people, it's just not, part.
You wouldn't even say hi, Lawrence. Like, hey, how are you?
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know. There's some people like me that's like, meh.
I think you have to identify what works for you, because I'm more comfortable speaking to people like in close units, right? Like I'll say max maybe 4 to 5, right? And we're speaking about like an interest or like-minded interests that we all have, like in this case, money or money nerds or opportunities or entrepreneurship. So I could speak a little bit more vocal and more naturally in that case. But anything outside of 5, 10, 20, I'm just like, just talking and talking, going from one person to the next, and I'm also a person, I don't care for small talk. So for me, that made networking a little bit tough, because I'm not just approaching like, how's the weather, or, like all this other stuff. If I don't care about it, then you can tell from my demeanor that I don't care about it. Right. So, and I don't want to discuss it. So you have to kind of identify what type of person you are. And you could kind of, cultivate or change and modify your approach too, because if you are a type like me who like to be in more close units of people, then workshops can be a good opportunity for you, or when they're breaking
smaller.
Yeah, or something smaller. You can always start something small too, and then work yourself from there. But maybe too, just like those close knit relationship, like actually building a relationship with someone, not just, because you're a profession, I'm a profession. Let's try to be like, if you really genuinely want friendship or some form of relationship, then you should just build it on there. Like, hey, are you free? Such and such. Let's get coffee. Let's, whatnot, and just go from there. But you have to kind of find what type of person you are too. And the only way you're going to do that is, you have to put yourself out there. It could be small circle, it could be small events. You have to kind of see what kind of, personality that you do have.
Right. And even if it's like, if in person, you struggle with the in person, like, just like Alainta say, taking the step to even engage. Like for me, I find it funny that so many people think I'm extroverted. I am not. If I could be in my house with my books and a cup of tea and doing videos, I would do that full time. I happened to tap into something that my boyfriend at the time, a couple of years back, was like, lovely, you have the ability to captivate people, but you don't want to tap into that. And I was like, no, don't like people. Moving on. Until like I was passionate about what I was doing in Haiti enough that it overrided my fears, my nervousness. And I was like, well, I want this to happen. I'm going to have to, if I got to talk to people to make it happen, then that's what I'm going to do. And I started to realize like people are just people, just talk to them. And of course, I understand that for some people, it really is like frightening. Like, I mean, paralyzing them. This is like putting them into like a shark thing. And that's what Alainta was talking about when we were talking about public speaking, because I was mentioning in our group chat that I've been in 3 graduate classes, and every time we have a group project, I always end up being the spokesperson. I'm always the person that has to do the presentation, always the person that ends up being the leader of the team. No matter if I'm real quiet for the first 2 meetings, I speak one time and it's like, oh yeah, lovely. I think that definitely is you for you to do that. But I also realized that public speaking doesn't come naturally to other people, but it didn't come naturally to me either. It's time and practice and being able to communicate. And I don't think I'm good. I have so much more work to do. But it's nonetheless, I do think, like Alainta mentioned, try your best to kind of get out of your comfort zone. I think what COVID did to us as a society, like home feels comfortable, and that's all good. But we need to understand that we are wired for connection and community. And that's why you saw people we talked about this earlier in a recent other podcast, like getting pets, because we want that cultivation of community and community conversation. And so it doesn't have to be the same, but I do think that I feel like getting some opportunities are going to require us to step out of our comfort zones and have more conversations in person and just be able to cultivate some different type of relationships.
So what you about to do?
She's not coming to FinCon. That's what's going on. Like, but let's continue. I just want to say in regards to that, I think everybody does need to do themselves a service by really developing more of a communication centered approach. Either it be through going through Toastmasters to kind of, understand the fine points of doing like those 1 minute conversations or the quick what do you used to call those things?
Elevator pitches?
Elevator pitches, 1 minute conversations, or even understanding your own bio. I don't think a lot of people write their own bio, know who they are, or what they are about, or what they're passionate on. So it's nobody's wrong here, as much more that I'm one of those people that understand that everybody's different. There's some people that naturally, they love to be in the room. They naturally network. That's just what they do. They get numbers, they get contacts, they build like entire communities around them. That's just what they do. But if you're one of those people that find themselves not that person, and that's okay too. But we need to kind of find new ways to make sure that you're also benefiting from the fruits of your labor, your time, as well as investing in companies that are making money from those people that are doing all the networking stuff like that. So there is a way for you to build wealth and be happy as well. You just have to also get out your own way and also get out there every once in a while. Even if it's just to go to Bark Social, hang out with a couple people drinking beer all day, or go to a couple brunches, but it's all good.
Or get invited to DC and then be told that you're not even going to be entertained.
You're not going to be entertained. That's for sure. That's not going to happen. Let's keep it real. You get lodging for free. Like, I don't know what you're going to do with your time, but we got Netflix, I guess.
Oh my goodness. And then when everybody comes, especially if they're going to spend 2-3 days, I have a whole itineraries. Like, guys,
I know, then do you. I'm like, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is my house is available. Why are you mad? Why are you still holding on this, being very salty about this? Like you're not getting free lodging. Like it's not a thing. You get free Keurigs as well. We got some coffee here. Like what the heck? What you want me to do? It's like an Airbnb, or not Airbnb. Oh, it's a B&B. Like you just show up and it's what it is. I'm not going to drive you around.
No. I wouldn't expect that. I know.
I heard some B&B action here, man. Like, yeah, you do you.
You hear this answer, right? You hear?
But we definitely need to wrap up this episode just to let everybody know there are opportunities that's going to come up. The best thing that you can do is to plan, do what you need to do, either be, get yourself healthy, get yourself prepared, get all the stuff that you need to get done early, and stop being distracted by the noise. For when an opportunity does come and that door or that window opens, you need to be ready to jump right in, which is weird. It's a weird analogy of jumping in somebody's window, but you know what I mean. At the end of the day, you can find me on IG at the Neighborhood Finance Guy. And I'm also known at, I'm definitely known as that, but you can find me on my website as well, where you can click and see what I've written recently, and ball out with me, your boy, Lawrence.
And also you can find me on IG at Alainta_Alcin. DM us, request, follow, all that good stuff.
You can find me at Lovely Merdelus on all the socials, first and last name, and I believe it's in the show page notes. And we can't wait to bring you soon, hopefully starting in October, more visuals of us recording on the podcast, which should be fun. So you guys can get to see our faces and stuff all on the interwebs. But we'll talk about that soon. Thank you for listening to the Financial Griot podcast, powered by the Wealth Builders Collective.